Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be accepting a $100 PlayStation 2 challenge. Now this is a video I got idea from Tylord, one of my YouTube buddies here. And he got it from someone else. But basically the point of this is you have $100 to spend. Which games would you buy for the PS2 that would like start your collection, I guess, or like which ones would be the best ones or something like that. Anyway, what I did, I looked through my whole collection and I picked out 11 different games here. And I think I just hit it at like $99. I kind of did a little rounding, so it's right around $100 using the price charting app. And these games, I thought that the best thing to do would be to get like a good combination of different genres, so give people a little variation of what kind of games they are, but also just the best value for your money too, obviously. And I guess I'll just start off with Ridge Racer 5. Now this one is I think the first and only game on the PS2 that's the Ridge Racer game. They made some for Xbox 360 and PS3 later, but this is only one on PS2. And this one still feels kind of like it's in the older style of the Ridge Racer games. The first ones were on the PS1, and there's a very distinct style to these Namco Ridge Racer games. And this is the last one you really feel that same kind of original old school style. And it's really good. It's a really fun game. It's got great music and great arcade action. So if you like racing games, here's a fighting game, Dead or Alive Hardcore. And this, I think, is also the only Dead or Alive on the PS2. And I forget if it's like a different version of Dead or Alive 2 that was on other systems, or if it's kind of like its own game. I think it's just like PlayStation 2's version of Dead or Alive 2. But this game's got excellent graphics, great fighting, and for those of you who don't really like the Tekken games or the Street Fighter games, this is an excellent alternative. Now here's a classic. We got Shadow of the Colossus. This game, I remember when it came out, it was really big. You can get like remastered versions of this game now for PS3 and maybe even PS4 too. But the original PS2 is still just such an amazing game. Never seen anything like it at the time. And I think it still holds up. And you can just play this game. Geez, I don't even know how to describe it really. You're basically a guy on a horse exploring this huge land and killing huge colossi. But the whole game's just got a very interesting style, and there's really not another game like it on the PS2. Check out the videos on it if you're interested. Here is a first-person shooter. This was one of the only first-person shooters that I really just kind of fell in love with. And this is another one that's kind of got its own style. You play as someone on Mars, and you're part of like a mining group. And there's like a revolution, and you're kind of fighting your way through Mars, going in all kinds of different weird locations, and you can actually break the walls in the game too. They called it like the Geomod system or something, I don't know. But it was really interesting and very unique for a shooter. And the graphics on it aren't the best today. They don't really hold up super well, but I think they're still like clean enough where you guys can still enjoy it. Here's another first-person shooter, Medal on a Frontline. I remember I got this brand new back in the day. This is still my original copy. And this game was very shocking at the time because it's another World War II game. But what they did at the very beginning of the game is you're playing through like I think the D-Day scenario where you storm the beaches and everyone around you is basically getting shot. You're getting shot too. You got to be pretty sneaky to finish that first level. I remember, and this game's dirt cheap now. You know, all these old Medal of Honor games are dirt cheap, but they were excellently made games at the time. They really were, and they still hold up. Here's one, Onimusha Warlords. Now, if you guys remember the old Resident Evil games, you played like a tank-style control where you're kind of using the D-pad to move, and it's a little clunky. That's why it's kind of got phased out over time, but it still works. You know, it's just something you have to get used to if you never played a tank control style game. But this game is amazing. It's actually, I mean, it looks like some kind of samurai game. It's actually kind of a horror game. You're fighting demons with swords, basically. And the graphics on it, I remember, were very unique and very good. And just there's not like a huge amount of story to it, but just the world they made in this game was quite impressive, especially for the time. And this game I just played for the first time, literally a couple years ago. I think it still holds up great. Now here's two games I'll just talk about kind of at the same time. These are the Final Fantasy games they made on the PS2 that weren't the online game. So we got Final Fantasy X, and there's also a sequel to this, but I'm not including it today. And we got Final Fantasy XII. And both these games are very, you know, high production quality, high standards of making good games back in the day. And these games, for whatever reason, they're still just dirt cheap. I think they made so many of them. Like this game is literally like $6 on eBay. And you know, I'm sure you guys already know what these are, especially if you're watching older game videos. So I won't talk about them too much, but yeah, I'd say value for, you know, your value is probably the best on these two games out of all the other games I'm showing you, just because of the amount of work they put into these games. Here's a game I don't hear many people talk about. This is the original Splashdown. And this is an Atari game, and I was kind of shocked I actually enjoyed it as much as I did. I have not seen any, what do you call it? What do you call these things? I forget what they're called right now. I'm kind of blanking. But anyway, this game, you race around on these watercraft, and they just put a bunch of stuff in this game that just worked very well. First of all, the handling on these things is really good. Much better, I think, than like the old N64 Wave Race. It feels a little more realistic, but it's still like an arcade game. And it's got great music too. They put a bunch of like kind of alternative rock tracks and stuff in it. And it really shows like it's a product of the time, but it's still a lot of fun. Now here is something that you guys probably would never imagine me putting on here. This is Tiger Woods, 2005. I have some nostalgia for this game, and maybe that's why I picked it, but I think, you know, even though these games come out every year, this one I remember had like a lot of kind of hit music from 2005 kind of stuck in it. And I played this and I was just, you know, happy to kind of relax. It's a very, you know, slow-paced kind of golf game. You can just take your time with it and go through each of the courses. And the graphics are pretty good, actually. And they got weather effects and everything. It's kind of dated at this point, you know, compared to the modern Tiger Woods games, but I think this is actually probably more fun than the later ones, for me anyway. It's just kind of got that more simple style, and like I said, I really like the music and just kind of the atmosphere of the game. I was not expecting that in an EA Sports game. Now we got, last but not least, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I don't need to talk about this game too much because all you guys know this one, but this game is still cheap. And it's one of the best GTA games ever made, really. I know most of these games are, well, not most of them, but some of these games, they're all like remastered now and looking better on the newer systems and everything. But I didn't think that was really the point of this challenge. I was just thinking it's a really cool idea to just have as many good games as possible as you can for just $100. And 11 games, pretty good value, I think. If you're a new PS2 collector and you want to get some good stuff, check out some of these titles sometime.